if I give overall, STMS is SAP Transport Management System. So basically, why we need this configuration, especially for the configuration. So to move the objects, normally data, we will call it as the to move the data. So data means we have the number of data, right? So client specific data, repository data, cross client data, user master data, application data. So like that data, instead of telling like all data, if you put like object means it will come anything, right? Object. To move the object or objects from one system to another system, and another system to one system to another system. So this is your landscape. So landscape means within the landscape we have the development, quality, and production systems. So this is called the landscape. Who will connect between the your systems? So who will tell this is your development system, this is your quality system, this is your production system? Who will tell means, so here STMS configuration will tell, STMS configuration will be, so will tell us to, okay, this is your development, this is quality, this is production. Okay, so because of depends upon the configurations. As part of this configuration, we have discussed about the domain controller. So for TMS configurations, first we need to confirm the domain controller configuration, right? Then domain underscore SID. First in these three systems, we have to decide, out of these three systems, we have to decide which system should be in the domain controller, which system should be in the domain controller, we have to decide it. Then once the domain controller system is completed, once the domain controller is completed, then then we have to perform the, we have to add the systems into domain controller. Then means sub branches we have to add into the main branch. First main branch, then sub branches, then configuration of the transport routes, then transport layers. So this we have to perform it, right? Automatically when you are doing this all this configuration in the back end, so we have certain configuration will be created. So one user will be created, that is called the TMS ADM, right? So routes, RFC destinations will be created, TMS ADM star and TMS SUP. These are the RFC destinations will be created in the SM59, and one background job RDD IMP job will be created. So these are the requirement. This will be created automatically. Okay. So through this user, through this roads, so this job will move the data from one place to another place. Basically, that is the thing. So this user will move the through RFC destinations, from connecting to the other systems. So the data will be moved. Okay, this job will run and it will move the data within the system. Means it will import the objects, right? That is the one. Why? Because this system is in the one place, this is in the one place, this is in the one place. So how can we move the data then? So we have to create the TMS configuration. Then then we can move the data. Okay, this is what configuration perspective we have created. So what is mean by transport group? So here when we are doing this all this configuration, so what is this way transport group? Transport group. So transport group. Anyone knows what is mean by transport group? Yesterday, so we discussed transport. First of all, what is transport?
Moving from one place to another place.
Okay, so transport. Okay, the transport means it's a kind of request. In this transport request, we will add the objects. Okay, simple. In the transport request, we will add the objects. What is the naming convention of the transport request? What is the naming convention of the transport request?
SID, K9 and numbers.
Yeah, SID, K9 and number. So this number will be generated. SID means if you are creating the request in the NWD, that SID, K9, number. It is the first request, one second request, two, third, three, like that. The number will be generated automatically. Okay, number will be generated. So that everyone knows. So transport group means all systems. This all systems. When whatever the systems you are configuring in the in the landscape, all systems will use the common trans directory that is called the trans group. So which means all systems like we have the development system, this will use the same trans directory. So your quality system will use the same trans directory. So production system will use the same trans directory. So all systems will use the common file systems that is called the common trans directory from the group. All systems common trans directory from the group, that is called the why, because data is exchanged between the systems using the RFC connections of the TMS. So data will pick from the here. Why? Because when you are creating the transport request in the development system, then when you release it, it will go to the trans directory. In the form of, we have the folders, right? Co files and data files. It will, when you release the transport request, release means export. When you export the transport request, it will split the transport request into the two files. It will split the transport request into two files. So one is the co files and data files. Right? So co file starts with the K9. So data file starts with the R9. Co files K9 and R9. This is the way here the data will be moved to the here exported. So once you developed the one object, so yesterday we have discussed about the sequence, right? For importing the transporter. In that sequence, if any one of the step is missed, then we cannot import that request. So all the steps should be required. So fortunately the creation of the request will be taken care of the development and functional teams. So you no need to worry about the one. If you know, that is well and good. Why? Because tomorrow sometimes we have to create the transport request. So that time you should be aware of. But for now, for your experience, that much of not required. But for creation, if you know, that is also well good enough. So that is the way when you create the transport request, when you release it, the data will be moved to the OS level trans directory in the form of co files and data files. So co files starts with the K9, data file starts with the R9. Bin means all the whatever the configuration you are performing, TMS configuration, that configuration will be stored here. Buffer means, so you release the transport request, right? That request number will be saved into the buffer. This is a trans directory folders, right? Bin, buffer, co files, data files, SAP names, right? Log directory, temp directory, EPS. So we have folders are available here, right? So here, so bin configuration files will be stored here. Buffers, sometimes interior will ask the question, can you explain about the trans directory? You have to explain like, so trans directory will be shared between the across the landscape after your TMS configuration is done. So in the trans directory, we have the bin, buffer, co files, and data files, and everything are available. So bin is related to the configuration data will be stored here, and so buffer, imported transport requests are available in the buffer. Co files and data files. When you release or when you export the transport request, so the transport will split into the two files. One is the core files and the data files, right? So that is the core file and data file. SAP names, the owner who are releasing those names. SAP means SAP user IDs will be stored here. Log directory. So when you are importing the transport request, the logs will be generated, right? Whether the transport is successfully or not, that log will be generated in the log folder. So if any issues with the transport, we have to any issues with the transport, so we have to fix the issues. We have to fix the issues. Any issues with the transport, we have to fix the issues here. Any issues with the transport, we have to fix the issues. So by seeing the this logs and everything. Temp directory. Temp means temporary directory. So temporary files are available here. EPS. EPS means the support packs related. The support packs related. So files will be stored in this directory. Okay. Enter this trans directory. They may ask you questions. What is meant by trans directory? Something like that. So you have to answer this trans directory. Okay. So let me see. Okay, this is stopped, I guess. Let me start. Okay. So yeah. So bin, buffer, core files, data files. So this is the way. So export regarding the transport release. So then data folder structure here, importing process. So what exactly when you are importing the transport request, what exactly happens here? So how can we know whether the transport is imported or not? How can we know? Transport import process, right? Transport import transport import process. So to import the transport request, we have to go to the respective system, then TMS transaction code, then select the system, which system you want to use. Select the system, then select the TR, which system, which TR you want to import, then click on import option, truck symbol. It kind of truck symbol. That is not the fully loaded truck, only semi loaded truck you have to click it. So both are in the same. So fully loaded, not don't click the full load truck. Why? Because all will be imported. Fully loaded means all the transports will be imported. All the transport requests will be imported in the fully loaded truck. Okay, all the transports will be imported in the fully loaded truck. So that is not suggestible method. We have to import the one by one. Why? Because when you are importing the transport request, if something is happens, then if something is happens, so we cannot revert the changes. We cannot revert the changes. So that is the reason. So one by one we have to import it. Okay. So when you are importing the transport request, in the back end, so one job will be started, right? So written codes, let's talk about the written codes. Are you with me as of now? Any questions or concerns? Is it confusing?
No,
Yesterday
sir.
it's clear, right? Let me ask some
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Let me ask some questions to Sirisha. So hi Sirisha. So how many types of routes we have?
Consolidation route and delivery routes.
So what is mean by consolidation route?
Consolidation between development and quality and delivery
Okay.
between quality and production.
Okay. So can I create a multiple delivery routes? Multiple delivery routes. Can I create the multiple delivery routes?
Yes.
Why? They may ask you questions like this only in the interview point of time. So can I create the multiple delivery routes? Multiple delivery routes. Okay, fine. Reboot now to complete the process. Okay, so multiple delivery routes. Suppose if you have the more systems, so multiple delivery routes can I create it? Suppose this is one landscape, this is the N landscape, we have the production here, and this is the one more landscape, this is the one more landscape. So we have, this is the project development system, this is the support development systems. So here project development systems, they will do the development, they will move the changes to the here. And here we have the one more development systems, they will move the changes to the here, right? They will move the changes to the here as well. So can I create the multiple delivery routes here, right? We can create it, right? Multiple delivery routes, but consolidation basis route only one. Why? Because so we cannot create the multiple consolidation routes for one system or everything, but delivery routes we can create the multiple delivery routes we can create it. Why? Because here production system is only one, but this is a support landscape. If you take the support landscape, but they have the parallel go lives, parallel projects are running. In this case, they will build the one more development system. This is the N system, this is the N plus one lane system. So one more development system, they will build it. One more development system, they will build it. So in this case, what we can do? So we can create it. We can create it. But this is a different landscape. Different landscape. Only the exceptional cases they build the new development systems and new systems and everything. Only exceptional cases. Exceptional cases they will build the systems. Exceptional cases they will build the systems here. Okay. Exceptional cases they will build the systems here. So yes, I think we have SAP logon pad has stopped working. I think this is the old version, I guess. I rebooted. I rebooted the system as such. What it's okay. So let us uninstall first this one. Another GUI. So this is the import process. Okay. Next, sorry. When you imported there are key things to remember when you imported the transport request. When you imported the transport request here, so here the transport request has some status, right? The return codes, kind of return codes. So how many types of return codes we have? 4 types of return codes: 0, 4, 8, and 12. So by seeing this transport request, if it is the 0, which means successfully imported, successfully imported. So if it is the 4 means, so successfully imported, so successfully imported with warnings, with warning. So warnings can be ignored. In both the cases, request is successfully imported. If is the transport request is ended with 8, so one or more objects got error. One or more objects are error. Maybe syntax error, whatever that may be. Then in this case, we need to inform transport TR owner. Who is the owner? We need to inform them what objects he placed in that one. What objects he placed in that. So we need to inform to that person. We need to inform to the that person here. Okay. We need to inform to the that person here. Okay. Done. So let me quickly initiate the installation. Then we'll discuss SAP Windows Win32 and setup.exe and okay. Now okay, so this will install the SAP systems. So meanwhile, let's see. We have SAP systems here. Okay. So yeah, sorry. So yeah, written codes. We are discussing about the written codes, RC. So when the transport imported, so our request is importing the our case importing the transport request, provide the written code to the user. So how can we know? So if it is the 0, means green symbol will come, which means request is successfully completed. So 4 means warning symbol, amber symbol. 8 means, so there is a red symbol will come, which means one or more objects we need to inform to the transport, nothing from our side. So 12 means it's a system error. So then we have to check. Then we have to check from our side, basis side. So what we have to check here? So what we have to check? Okay, these troubleshooting steps are very important, guys. So please remember these steps. So if it's the 12 RC12, we have to take the action from our side. If the written code is 12, the transport is failed means here we need to check. So whether the transport is importing, when the transport is importing here from one system to another system. Suppose the example, this is the development system, so this is the quality system, so this is the production system. So when the transport is importing from here to here, so here these are the RFC destinations, right? These are the RFC destinations. So these are the RFC destinations. So TMS RFC destinations, TMS RFC destinations. In this TMS destinations will connect it here. So transport routes. So this is the consolidation route, consolidation route. These are the delivery route, consolidation route and delivery routes here. So routes we need to check. And also we have the transport layers. So SAP layer, ZSID layer, we have the layers. Through these layers, so from truck will start from here. Truck means the job, RDD, IMP, DP job. So when you are importing the transport request, so one user means TMS ADM is the driver. Let me take one example here. So road means TMS ADM, TMS RFC destinations, right? This is the road destinations. We will call it as the destinations in SAP language. In our language, we will call it as the road. Okay, user road. So truck means, so we should move the objects, right? Truck means RDD, IMP, DP, truck job. That is the job. So, but truck required the fuel, right? Fuel means one BTC work process. Why? Because we want to run the job, the back end, definitely you require the one BTC work process should be required here. One BTC work process should be required here. So that is what we require the BTC work process here. Okay. So BTC work process you required here to move the objects. So let me again still. Okay. So that truck you required, fuel is required, truck is required, road is required, user is required. So with this example, this 4 we should check when the truck, when the import is not happening from the development to quality, quality to production. These 4 we need to check. Real scenario, what will happen? I want to move the data from Hyderabad to Bangalore location. So then in this case, what we have to do? So one truck, under the truck, so we have the truck symbol here. So let me take the truck here. Okay, this is the truck here. Okay, this truck, this is a truck here. Truck means suppose like one truck here. In this truck, we will put the all the objects here, so that we will move the objects from one place to, through this RFC destination, through this TMS destination, the data will move to from one place to another place. So in this system, it should move, right? So this is the truck. Who is driving the truck? One user, right? User. So user is driving the truck. Okay. Here, just example, you can assume TMS ADM user is driving the issue on this road truck. So you are driving the issue. Either one of the this 4, if any one of the this 4 is not working, your transport request will not be imported to your target system, right? If the user is okay, road is okay, truck is okay. If you don't have the fuel means background work process, this job it won't run. Means truck it won't run. If the truck is not running, then how the data will be imported to the target system, right? So either your user is okay, road is okay, fuel is okay. The truck is not working, then definitely job is not working means definitely your object will not be moved. So either these two are okay, road these TMS destinations are not working means definitely you have some issues with the user, some issues with the destinations are not working means, so definitely the data will not be moved to the target system. Either these three are working, this user is not working. Not working means user is locked. So in this case, so maybe we have some issues with the TMS ADM user in the 000 client. We need to unlock the user or we need to reset the password. That things we have to do it. So the driver is okay, road is okay, connectivity. So truck is ready, all are ready, all are working properly means then only you can start the truck from here, the driver, then you can move the data from here to here, he will move the data. So either any one of these four is not working, then your transport request failed. The transport request will not be imported. The transport request will not be imported to the your respective target systems. Will not be imported. Okay, so sometimes they may ask you questions like your request is not getting imported, what could be the reasons? These are the possible reasons, these are the possible. So how can you check whether the user is not working? If you go to the SE01, we can check destinations SM59, job SM37, BTC work process SM50 or SM66, we can check it out. So what about this one? If the job is not working, if the job is not working, so we can, if your job is not working, the job is not working, TMS, RDD, IMPDP, RDD, IMPDP, the job, these are the common interview question. Job is not working. So what do? You have to go to the SA38 or SE38 and 000 client. Then you have to schedule the RDD new PP report. You have to execute report, execute it. If you execute it, the job will run. So if the truck is not working, then you have to go to the SA38. There is a report, RDD new PP report. You have to execute it. RDD new PP report, you have to execute it. This is the one. Okay. So if the user is not working, then you will go to the SU01. Then you will unlock or reset the password. You will do that one. So RFC destinations means SM59. We have to go. We need to check why it is not working. So fuel means BTC work process, the transport administration only during the interview point of time. So more questions they may ask you. So definitely they may ask you more questions. Transport request is not getting imported. So you have to tell all these four things you have to tell definitely. So they may ask you after that, okay, job is running, not running. So what you will do here? Then in this case, I have to go to the SA38 or SE38, execute the report. You know, right, how to execute the reports. So the user is locked. You need to check the destinations are working or not. So BTC process, right? So this is the way. If the 12 is not working, we have to support it. There were 8, one or more objects. The transport owner will take care of that one, which is not our basis related issues. Okay, the 12 or more, then we need to so check from our side. These are the issues we may get. Okay, these are the issues we may get. Okay, so this is a very important, guys. Why? Because they won't ask any questions on the configurations. So how to import means STMS, that we can tell simple one shot answer, but they may go a little bit deeply and ask, okay, while importing, transport request is not getting imported, TR is not getting imported, what could be the reason? So you have to tell all these 4 reasons. So where to check the logs? In the trans directory, we have the log folder, there we can check it out, right? So in the trans directory, we go to the trans directory here. If you go to the trans directory, CSR, SAP, trans, here you have the log folder. So here you can just filter the latest timestamp log files. You can filter the log, slog. So system log. Here you can give the information whether the transport request is getting imported or not. So this is the trans directory log file. Here are the 3 types of log files: slog, ulog. Ulog means, so it's a, so user related, which user, which service user related, which RFC destination, which RFC. So all this information will be displayed. Ulog, nothing will be there. Application logs. Application log means, so what is the transport request we imported yesterday, and next what transport request, all this information will be displayed here. Who is the user, or so the main thing is the S log. S log will give the clear information whether the job is not running, the RDD IMP job is not running, it will throw the errors. The user is locked, destinations are not, everything which will show in this destination. So TMS ADM user, TMS ADM, all the information will be displayed in the, so log in the OS level trans directory. Okay, so here SAP names. So who really, as of now we are using the basis user, that user. So right, so then temp directory, it's a temporary directory, so nothing will happen here. So etc nothing is there, just empty. EPS, so like support packs time, so we will get this data directory related. So data files, whatever the transport request you release, those data files will release it in the R9. Okay, so co files K9. Okay, so so if the transport, when the sometimes what happens, the import is fine, right? You are good with the import and the troubleshooting logs, where to check, how to troubleshoot if the user is locked, where to check, what to do, everything you know. Why? Because these may questions they may ask you sometimes, so you have to answer. So if you want to answer means you need to remember this concept. So fuel, truck, road, user. Simple example. If you remember this example, you can answer any questions on the TMS side. Okay, so fuel is not. Why? Because if you want to run the truck, definitely fuel is required, right? So if without fuel, how the job will run, right? Without background work process, so how the job will run, right? So it won't run, right? So without road, how can we connect from one system to another system? Without destinations, right? So without user, user means driver. Without driver, who will drive the truck, right? No one will drive the truck, only driver. So means without driver, how the truck will go, right? So that's the reason, so we have this four should be valid and active, then only data will be moved from this system to another system. Okay, these are the transport return codes, these are the troubleshooting logs. The trans directory is the troubleshooting logs, where we can fix the all the issues and everything. So sometimes the development team will raise the request, actually development team will raise the request saying that, so we are unable to release the transport request, where they are unable to release it, they are unable to release the transport request. Why? Because sometimes this trans directory got full, transport directory has some permission issue. Why? Because when they create the object, they will release it. Step number two, they have to release it, right? Step number two, they have to release it. So while releasing the system, while releasing this trans directory is full, which means they cannot release it. The trans directory is 100% full, then they cannot release it. While releasing any one of the folders, either co files or data files are deleted, then you cannot release it. If any permission issues, they cannot release it. So this kind of issues may get it while exporting, right? Importing, while importing also, if the co files does not have permissions, then it cannot import the transport request. Why? Because while importing, the data will be read from the co files and data files, then it will be imported into the system. So here trans directory is not allowing to do read the permission. Then so we need to check all the areas. So either the trans directory issues or so this one issues. Okay, so this is the issue that we need to fix that one. Okay, so let's fix now. We have one issue here. Is it clear for that one? You see SAP login pad is crashing. Crashing means, so maybe some patch level we have to, so let's see, it is stopped working here. Then in this case we need to download the latest versions of the SAP login pad, and we have to install the patches here. So let's see where is the latest versions are available. SAP GUI, not here. GUI for Windows. Okay, We are in the 770. So Windows 32. So there is a patch available. So recently only they have released the patch, new patch they have released. So we'll apply this patch. If that existing software having some issues, then SAP will release the new patch. They will release it so that we have to update the new patches as well. So it's not like that. You have to go and our IT team. You have to import it. If you don't have the proper permission, then we have to go to the IT team. We have to import it. So if you know how to install the SAP GUI means, then you are in the safe hands. See here. So now download the SAP file GUI, double click it. Now run it. So see, this will be installed. This will be installed now. So sometimes GUI also will stop working. Why? Because some issues with the GUI in the Windows systems. So it may stop working now. So here see. So latest versions we are downloading. See here, it is getting installed. It is getting installed. Let's see after that whether our SAP GUI will work or not. Let's see. See here, it is getting installed. Simple. The installations of anything is simple. The only thing is to understand the concept is very important here. See, it is getting installed. So any questions on the transport administration? Still, anyone? So today, whatever we discussed regarding the issues, input procedure, which is code is 12. So those all are the important. They may ask you, they may concentrate on these questions because theoretically they won't ask anything like, so can you tell me the procedure of that configuration of the domain controller? Then we can answer it. Anybody can answer. We can remember the 4 or 5 steps, but issues they may ask you, what are the issues you may face? Then you have to tell like, so TMS ADM user is locked. RFC destinations are not working. Then we went to the SM59 and we fixed the issue. Then job is not working. Then what you will do? Like that, they may ask you questions. Then you have to answer all these kind of things. You have to answer it. So import request, you are clear, right? Yesterday we discussed how to import the transport request, how to import the transport request and everything. You are clear, right? And also kernel upgrade. We discussed about the kernel upgrade as well. To complete the reboot. Many times it is asking us to reboot. Okay. So kernel upgrade also we completed. So any questions on the kernel upgrade? So you guys done, I think Parimala done the so good job. She completed the kernel upgrades, all the systems and everything. So that's the kernel upgrade is very important. Transport administration as of now. So what background jobs, the important topics, the background jobs, client copies, and transport administration and kernel upgrade. So yeah, these are the very important. The next we are going to discuss of the SAP support package, support packages. Then after that, so operational modes we have. So CCMS, so small topics. It's not very important, but SAP support packs is important. Using the sum tool we will do. Okay. So these all are the important topics. In SAP level, remaining all are the small topics. Work process also they won't ask you. So sometimes, so these are basics. So but background jobs they may ask you the questions. Client copies, transport administration, kernel upgrade. So and also support pack upgrade, then database related topics, and those are the very important topics. So you have to concentrate on the all these topics. Mainly you have to concentrate on the all these topics, right? Kernel upgrades, can you tell me the steps? They may ask you transport administration, how to import using the STMS transaction code. TR is not getting imported. What can you do? So client copies. So how many types of client copies that we can answer it? Background job SM36 we can schedule it. 37. The job is running from long time. Where can you check? So SM37 we can check. So how to cancel it? So that questions you have to answer it. That questions you have to answer it. All these questions you have to answer it. Okay. All these questions you need to answer it. And RFC administration. And this is also very important. RFC connections, RFC administration, and also the queues like SMQR, SMQS, SMQ1, and Scott also we discussed. Emails, I think, right? So that one, those are the very important things. So you need to carefully remember all these things. Otherwise, so they won't ask you questions on each and every topic. The main topics they may ask you, these are the main topics. Why? Because you have in the interview, you have the 30 minutes time. In the 30 minutes time, they won't ask you all the questions. So only so high level, they may ask you questions and everything they will go. Okay, you have to answer like that. Check the solution from the, this is also not working. Okay, so we need to download the latest version we have to download it instead of the patches and everything. Okay, let's fix this issue now. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
What is the virtual system and where it gets created?
Sorry, what is the
Virtual system. In SM59, they're asking for virtual systems and
in
where it
STMS?
got
STMS,
created.
right? STMS.
Yeah, SM59 and STM.
STMS, we have the virtual system concept is there. So normally when you are practicing the system, when you are practicing, so we have the real systems are there. That is the reason. So we have configured the TMS configurations and we moved the object from here to here, then here to here we moved it. So what if you don't have the systems, which was what if you don't have the physical systems? We have the physical systems are available, NWD, TST, PCP, three systems are there. Then we have configured and we are working. Sometimes in the real time, you don't have the systems. Then in this case, we have to create the virtual system. In STMS, while creating the system, there is an option. So virtual system, which means you are assuming, virtually you are assuming, physically it is not exist. Just virtually the system you are assuming like that system is exist, then we can, that is the target. We can import the request to that system itself. But that is not exist. But just you are assuming that system is exist. Why? Because TMS is required the two systems, right? But you don't have any two systems. In this case, what? We have the scope. That is the reason we have installed the TST and ECP systems and NWD systems we have installed and we configured same as like real-time environment. So sometimes we don't have physical systems. Physical means installed systems we don't have. That time we have to create the virtual system. Virtual system means we are just assuming. It's not like that. Physically, those systems are not exist. Okay, so anything? Any questions from anyone? You can ask me while I'm downloading this one. You can ask me questions.